Welcome to the last morning routine that I will ever film before having our baby. Currently in this video, I am 40 weeks pregnant, so I definitely have slowed down a bit. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to film this a little bit differently, show you guys from a third-person point of view how our mornings go. Mike and I walk out to the barn every morning, and typically Penelope's already out. So we go and we stop and we say hi to Miss Penelope. Hi, Penelope. Hi, how are you? Good morning. Now we continue our walk to the barn. As you can see, I'm very pregnant at this point, so as you can tell, my walk doesn't look like much of a normal walk anymore. The horses always start to neigh and greet us as we get near, so you'll hear that. So the first thing that I always do when I go into the barn is I say good morning to all of the horses. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I see some ears. Good morning. How are you? Good morning, Dinks. How are you? We actually purchased feed the day before, so we had to fill the cans up with the feed bags. But this is definitely Mike's chore these days because I can't lift the bags anymore. So I get to sit back and watch as he pours the pig food into the cans, and then also any of the horse feed that will actually fit in the cans will go in there as well. So the chickens don't bug me while I feed the rest of the animals. I always just give them a scoop of their grain and I put it right out in front of the barn. This is something that they've just adjusted to. I'm not sure why. They have grain in their coop, but they just like to do this and it keeps them out of my way while I'm feeding the rest of the horses, so it works. Now it's time to get the grain ready for the horses. You guys have seen this many times, but I give all my horses a half a scoop of Purina Equine Senior morning and night. So since this is a morning routine, they're just getting their half scoop, and I just fill up 4 scoops because at this time, June still wasn't with us when I did this morning routine, and Dinky doesn't ever really get grain much, and if she does, it's sometimes just at night. Hungry? So now I just go around and I feed all of the horses their grain. Sometimes the bowls are too far, so I have to go in and I have to grab their bowls so I can get them a little bit closer. And whenever I go into Louis' stall, I always like to just pet him and say hello to him. Here, Louis. Good morning. Cassius was pretty far, but we just threw it in there and made it. You ready to eat? There you go. Now, another thing that I never like to do is hay, so Mike is doing the honors of giving our hay out. We just got this hay as well the day before, so that's why it's still in the alleyway of the barn. But each of the horses just get about a nice hefty flake of hay in the morning before they go out. We're actually giving them their hay in their stall today. Sometimes we do this, it's the weekend, so that's why we did it like this. And then other times we just throw it out to pasture for them. Want some hay, Dinky?
Maybe just a bite. Take the whole plate.
Now that all the horses have their grain and hay, while they're eating, I just am going to clean up the alleyway of the barn a bit. I use the tools that I have so I don't have to bend down too much, like my muck fork and my broom, and then I just broom the alleyway out. It is so much easier to broom the alleyway without the mats, so I've really been loving doing this and keeping it clean. The horses are pretty much done eating, so now it's time for them to be let out, and we're actually letting them out to the back pasture. So Mike and I divide and conquer, and he starts to let the horses out on the right side, and I'll start to let the ones out on the left side. And they're pretty good about this. They know exactly where to go, so they just head out back towards the back pasture. And typically this is exactly what I do. I watch the horses when they go out because they are pretty excited to go out from being in their stalls all night. So they always do fun stuff, and they go and hang out and check out the pond, run around a bit. Trigger actually went and took a nice dive right into the pond, as well as Cash did. So I just watch them while they do this. The pasture was a little bit wet, so they were having a fun time in the water.
Yeah, he did. He crossed the pond, didn't he?
And while I was out here watching the horses, Mike was back in the barn and he was fixing up our hay area. There was a lot of old, loose, dusty hay, and I don't really like to be in the barn when he does that. So he was just getting all the hay out of there and getting rid of it so that we could move the bales of hay that we had just gotten the day before into that area. So he just took it all out with the muck fork, broomed the area, and then blew it out. But before you move the rest of the hay into that space, as you can see, Miss Broody Petro is hanging out in there, minding her own business in there, and we just left her be. Now that that's done, again, while I'm still out of the barn, he just uses a leaf blower and he blows out the entire barn, including the alleyway, just to get any of the remaining dust and dander and hay and such, because the—
Good morning, chickies. Are you guys hungry? They have fresh water from last night, but we do need to refill their feed.
The chicks are the last animals to be fed in the barn, so now it's time to go over to the other pasture with the pigs and the goats. So the goats don't get any grain, so it's just the pigs. So we give them about 4 to 5 scoops of their grain. We do this twice a day, but it's just the morning feed. And since I'm very pregnant right now, we definitely utilize our side-by-side so I don't have to walk all the way over to the other pasture, and we just drive over to there. The pigs are always really excited once we get closer, and the goats tend to hide in the stall.
Good morning, pigs. Good morning.
So we just pour the grain out onto the ground. This has been the most effective way that we have found. We've tried many different ways, but when we do it this way, we pour it into different piles so that the pigs don't have to fight over their feeds. We'll do about 2 to 3 piles so that they can just grab it and go and move around each other, since we do have a lot of pigs.
Ma'am, what are you doing? Hi, Oreo. Good morning. Good morning, Minnie. Hi, Willie. You gonna go for a ride, Oreo? Get in there. Get in. Oreo, do you want to take a ride on the side-by-side? Oh, in she goes. Hi, Oreo. He's gonna take you for a ride.
While the pigs are eating their grain, we do hang out in the pasture for a bit just so that we can play with the goats and interact with them. Plus, we wait till they are done eating their grain, because if we open their gate before, the goats will go in and eat the grain, and we definitely don't want that. So finally the pigs will realize that the gate's open, and then they all like to come out, and immediately they start to graze on the fresh grass. We have a lot of grass in this pasture right now, so it's actually really helpful when they graze on the grass. The pigs are really funny to watch, so I like to sit out here and watch them. But this is pretty much our morning routine these days. It is definitely a more simplified routine these days because of how pregnant I am. But this is how it is, taking care of all of our pets on the farm. And then we go in and we feed the dogs, and that's pretty much it. So if you guys liked watching our morning routine, then make sure you go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below so you don't miss any of these videos. And the next video I will post will be my gender reveal. All right, you guys, well, we love you, and we'll see you in the next one.